I always believed that a father could sense when something was wrong with his child, even before they said a word. But 10 days before Thanksgiving, that sense became a storm in my chest. Heavy, persistent, impossible to ignore. My daughter, Emma, had always been the bright one in the house. The child who hummed to herself while cooking breakfast. The child who laughed at jokes even before she fully understood them. The child who used to run into my arms every evening as if I was returning from war, instead of a normal workday. But that day, she didn't even look at me. I walked into the house carrying 2 bags of groceries. I expected to hear her voice from the living room or the kitchen. Maybe she'd be playing music too loudly again. Something I always pretended to complain about, but secretly adored because it made the house feel alive. But there was silence. And something else. Something colder. I put the bags down and walked down the hallway. The door to her room was half open, and I could see her sitting on the floor, legs crossed, head lowered, phone pressed against her forehead, as if she was trying to hold herself together. I called gently. She flinched, not turned, not answered. Flinched, like my voice scared her. That was the moment my stomach dropped. She looked up at me with a forced smile, a smile I had never seen on her face before. Too shaky, too scared, too practiced. "Dad, hey," she whispered. I asked her what was wrong. She said nothing. I asked her again. She said, "I'm fine." I asked a third time, and she snapped, "Dad, please." She had never used that tone with me. I walked away, pretending it didn't sting, pretending I didn't see the tears she wiped when she thought I wasn't looking. But I knew something was happening. Something she didn't want me to see. Something that was eating her alive from the inside. I just didn't know that in 10 days. I would uncover the truth that would break me in a way no betrayal, no loss, no heartbreak in my entire life ever had. Over the next few days, the house changed. It wasn't just Emma who was distant. It was everything. The laughter disappeared. The conversations vanished. I used to hear her pacing around the house, singing, talking to herself, opening and closing the fridge 5 times before deciding what to eat. But now, silence. And silence in a home that used to be filled with life. Feels like a warning. I would hear her room door close every time I came near the hallway. I would hear her phone vibrate at odd hours, followed by the sound of her taking deep, shaky breaths. Sometimes I caught her deleting messages as soon as she received them. One night, I saw her standing in the kitchen with the fridge door open, staring into it as if she forgot why she came. She jumped when she noticed me. "Emma," I said softly, "you're scaring me." She smiled again, that same trembling smile. "Dad, it's just school stress." But I knew school stress didn't make her hands shake. It didn't make her avoid eye contact. It didn't make her jump when the phone lit up. It didn't make a girl who used to tell me everything suddenly hide her entire world behind locked screens and secret tears. I asked her if someone was bothering her. She laughed too loudly and said, "No, Dad. Please stop worrying." But worry was the only thing I could do. The night before everything fell apart, I stood by her door and listened. Her voice was quiet, trembling, and it broke me to hear her whisper, "I don't know what to do anymore." And then silence. I pressed my hand against the door, wanting so badly to walk in, but I didn't. Maybe that was my mistake. Because the next morning, I would finally discover the secret she had been hiding, and nothing could prepare me for it. It happened by accident, completely by accident. Emma had left her backpack on the kitchen table before leaving for school. Her phone buzzed inside it. Normally, I never touched her things. But something about that vibration, the sharpness of it, the way it echoed in the quiet kitchen, made me freeze. Another buzz, then another, 3 messages in under 10 seconds. I didn't take the phone out. I only looked at the screen through the slightly unzipped pocket, and that's when I saw it. A preview message from a number labeled unknown. "If you don't do what I said today, everyone at school will know." My heart stopped. Another message popped up. "Don't make me send a video, Emma. Last warning." My knees almost gave out. A third message. "Tell your dad and I'll ruin everything." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I could see was that last line. "Tell your dad and I'll ruin everything." Someone was threatening my daughter. Someone had something over her, something powerful enough to make her hide from me, withdraw from life, and cry alone in her room. I grabbed the phone with shaking hands. My instinct screamed at me, "Find out, now." I tried unlocking the phone. It required a passcode. My hands trembled even harder. I knew her birthday. I tried it. Wrong. I tried my birthday. Wrong. I tried the year she adopted our dog from the shelter. Wrong. That's when the guilt hit me. I didn't even know her passcode anymore. She used to give it to me without hesitation. But now, she lived in a world I wasn't allowed to enter. I put the phone back exactly the way I found it. And then I did something I had never done before. I followed her to school, from a distance, just to see if she was safe. But what I saw next hurt more than those messages. I saw her standing outside the school gate, clutching her backpack straps, eyes scanning the crowd nervously. Then a boy walked up to her, tall, confident, a smirk on his face that made my blood run cold. He grabbed her wrist, not gently. She flinched. He whispered something in her ear that made her eyes fill instantly with tears. I took a step forward, then another, but Emma shook her head ever so slightly. A warning, a plea. My daughter was protecting him from me. That hurt more than anything. I stood behind a tree, watching the boy walk away while she wiped her face with her sleeve. When she finally went inside the school, my fists were still clenched. Who was he? What did he have over her? What video was he threatening to send? I drove home with shaking hands, torn between anger and fear, between wanting to confront him and wanting to understand the full truth. The moment I walked into the silent house, I knew what I had to do. I needed answers, and the only place to find them was in the one room she had been hiding herself in for weeks. Her room. I didn't want to invade her privacy. I felt sick even turning her doorknob. But something in me whispered, "You're not invading her life. You're saving it." Her room was dim, curtains half-drawn. The air felt heavy, like the sadness inside her had soaked into the walls. On her desk sat her laptop, closed, silent, shining faintly in the morning light. I opened it. It asked for a password. My hands trembled again. I tried her dog's name. It worked. My chest tightened. The desktop loaded, and one folder caught my eye, a folder she had renamed with 3 emojis, a lock, a broken heart, and a clock. I clicked it. Inside were screenshots, messages, recordings. Everything came together like a punch to the stomach. The boy, his name was Ryan, had been manipulating her for months. He had convinced her to trust him, to confide in him, to send him a vulnerable video when she was crying during a stressful night. A video she thought would stay between them. But instead, he used it against her, to control her, to threaten her, to isolate her, to break her. And she didn't tell me, not because she didn't trust me, but because he told her that if she did, I would be disappointed in her. My throat tightened until it hurt. He had stolen something from her, her sense of safety, her confidence, the light she used to carry everywhere she went. And now I knew why she was so afraid. Now I knew why she cried at night. Now I knew why her smile had become something fragile and forced. And I knew something else. This wasn't just a teenage mistake. This was emotional manipulation. This was psychological pressure. This was someone weaponizing her vulnerability. And I, her father, had been unaware of all of it. My hands clenched around the sides of the desk as I whispered to myself, "Not anymore." I didn't wait for school to end. I drove straight there. I waited outside the gates, heart pounding. Every car that passed, every student that walked out, every bell that rang, it all faded into a buzzing roar in my ears. Finally, I saw him, Ryan, walking with 2 friends, laughing like he didn't have a care in the world, like he wasn't holding my daughter's life hostage. I stepped in front of him. His smirk faded for a split second, then returned. "Oh, you must be Emma's dad." The arrogance in his voice made my jaw tighten. I kept my voice calm, controlled, dangerously steady. "We need to talk." His friends stepped back. They knew something was about to happen. Ryan shrugged. About what? I leaned closer. About the messages you've been sending her. His eyes widened barely, then narrowed. I think you're confused. No, I said quietly. Not confused. Not mistaken. Not guessing. I know. His throat bobbed. For the first time, fear flickered across his face. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I didn't touch him. I just spoke with the full weight of a father's broken heart. She trusted you. She confided in you. And you chose to hurt her, to scare her, to control her. He opened his mouth to respond, but I raised a hand. I don't care about teenage drama. I don't care about relationships ending. But what you did is manipulation. It's pressure. It's emotional harm. His face paled. You don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly, I said. You're going to delete everything. Right now. In front of me. And then you're going to stay away from her. He hesitated, then pulled out his phone. I watched him delete every message, every screenshot, every file. But that wasn't enough. I made him record a voice message, speaking clearly, stating that he had been pressuring her, that he was stopping, that he would stay away permanently. He hated every second of it, but he did it. When he tried to walk away, I said, if you ever contact her again, ever, I will take every piece of evidence to the school, to your parents, and to anyone who needs to see it. And you know exactly what that will mean. He didn't respond. He just walked away fast. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from heartbreak, because I knew the hardest part wasn't confronting him. The hardest part was still ahead, facing my daughter. That evening, Emma came home, dropped her backpack, and walked straight to her room. I knocked gently. Em, can we talk? Silence. Then a faint trembling. Dad, please, not today. I opened the door anyway. She was sitting on the floor again, hugging her knees, eyes red. When she looked up and saw the expression on my face, the truth in it, she froze. You know, she whispered. I nodded. She broke. Completely. She sobbed into my chest with a force that made my heart ache. She apologized repeatedly, saying she didn't want to disappoint me, didn't want to think less of her, didn't want to ruin Thanksgiving, didn't want to be a burden. A burden. My daughter thought she was a burden. I held her tighter and whispered, you are not a burden. You are my child. And nothing you ever do, nothing that ever happens to you, will make me think less of you. She cried harder. We talked for over an hour. She told me everything, the messages, the pressure, the fear, the shame. But the moment that shattered me the most was when she said, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to see me differently. I cupped her face gently. Emma, the only thing I see is a girl who went through something painful and didn't deserve any of it. You didn't fail me. Someone failed you. For the first time in weeks, she nodded without tears. She leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, thank you for finding me before it got worse. And that was the moment I silently vowed, she will never go through something like this alone again. On Thanksgiving Day, she sat beside me at the table, not hiding, not trembling, not forcing a smile. A real smile finally returned to her face. We didn't talk about Ryan. We didn't talk about the past month. We didn't talk about the fear or the secrets or the confrontation. We talked about food and her favorite music and the dog stealing turkey from the counter. We talked like a family again. But deep inside me, a quiet truth settled. I had almost lost her, not physically, but emotionally. She had slipped into a place where she felt alone, ashamed, and afraid to come to me. And I realized something powerful. Being a father isn't just about protecting your child from the world. It's about making sure they never fear your reaction more than the world's cruelty. It's about being a safe place, not a judgment. A home, not a courtroom. A comfort, not a threat. 10 days before Thanksgiving, I discovered my daughter's secret. And yes, it broke me, but it also rebuilt something inside our relationship, because she now knows fully, completely, unquestionably that I am on her side. Always. And if one day she ever feels lost again, she won't whisper her fears into a phone or hide tears alone in her room. She'll come to me, her father, her safe place. And that, more than anything, is what saved us.